There is an astonishing $867 billion mountain of unsold metal suffocating America's car lots right now. This is a debt built not on economic necessity, but on pure, unadulterated pandemic greed. For months, the average dealer has been staring down a crushing $127,000 a month in interest bills just to keep vehicles sitting still as they gather dust, decaying in the sun. An executive, speaking only on condition of anonymity, admitted the truth. "We got too cocky, and now everyone's panicking." This isn't just a market correction. This is the car market apocalypse the automakers never wanted you to see. The same companies that gouged us during the shortages are now drowning in inventory and begging us to take their losses. How did we get from desperate bidding wars to desperate fire sales? The numbers are real, the deals are crazier than ever, and your revenge is finally here. Back in 2021, the fundamental rules of the road changed overnight. Dealers who once had to fight for your business completely flipped the script, turning every empty lot into a goldmine. Scarcity, they realized, wasn't an accident. It was a devastatingly effective business model. New cars became mythical unicorns, and the official sticker price became totally meaningless. Instead, the only number that mattered was the market adjustment. This was the code for pure, fat profit tacked on top of the manufacturer's suggested retail price with zero negotiation, a deliberate act of highway robbery. We saw unbelievable reports. A $42,000 Toyota Tacoma suddenly listed for $59,000. Kia Tellurides were marked up $18,000 over sticker. Dealers had a cruel, simple response they repeated like a mantra: supply and demand. By the spring of 2022, the industry's own cold data showed an unbelievable 82% of all new vehicles sold for above sticker price. The average markup had hit $4,048, and that was just the average. If you dared to question the price, a Ford store in California would post a $20,000 addendum on an F-150 Lightning and simply tell you, if you don't want it, someone else will buy it tomorrow. The arrogance was breathtaking, but the silence from the assembly lines was just the calm before the financial storm. Automakers didn't just look the other way, they cheered the gouging from the sidelines. With production throttled by the chip shortages, every single car that shipped was a pure jackpot. The National Automobile Dealers Association reported that the average gross profit per new vehicle soared from $2,000 pre-pandemic to over $5,000 by late 2021. For luxury models, that profit was double. Automakers quickly learned a simple, powerful lesson they'd forgotten for decades: build fewer cars, charge more, and watch the numbers climb. In 2021, Ford's gross profit margin hit 9.85%, nearly quadrupling what it had been just a year prior. General Motors, meanwhile, cleared an eye-watering $10 billion in net income while selling 13% fewer vehicles overall. The strategy was confirmed in February 2022, when Ford CEO Jim Farley told investors the quiet part out loud: "We're not chasing volume, we're chasing margins." The industry got absolutely hooked on this river of easy money, and they started to believe the party would never end. But one executive, the only one willing to speak off the record, offered a chilling warning that everyone ignored. "We never thought we'd see margins like this, but nobody's asking what happens when the music stops." The rush of cash completely blinded everyone to the looming disaster, a massive wave of overproduction about to crash into a customer base that had completely hit the affordability cliff. The math stopped working for the average American buyer long before the dealers felt a twitch of pain. By late 2024, the average new car payment hit a record-shattering $745 a month. That's a staggering increase from just $575 4 years earlier. But the true, devastating villain is the cost of borrowing: interest rates. A new car loan now runs at 6.7% APR if you have good credit. For used cars, a horrific 11.9% is the going rate, often spiking to 15% or even 21% for subprime buyers. Almost 1 in 5 American buyers is now signing for a payment over $1,000 a month. For millions of families already struggling with rent, groceries, and soaring insurance costs, the car payment has become the unforgivable deal breaker. But it gets worse, shutting the doors on millions more. More than 18% of all buyers are now upside down on their trade-ins. That means they owe more on their old car than it's worth, so that negative equity is rolled into the new loan. This average negative equity has ballooned to over $6,600, forcing the new loan to become even bigger and even more unaffordable. The system that once put America on wheels is now locking the doors, and the resulting delinquency rates are back to the terrifying levels of 2008. That affordability cliff sent a wave of paralyzing financial pain directly to the dealers' bank accounts. Imagine running a business where you owe a bank $4,200 every single day just to keep your product from being repossessed. That is the grim reality for dealers across the country who are now stuck with a colossal $127,000 a month bill for floor plan interest. That staggering sum is not payroll, it's not rent, it's not advertising. It's just the punishing cost of borrowing money to keep unsold cars sitting on the lot. But the financial burden is brutally compounded by a physical one: decay. A new car untouched for 90 days slowly turns into a liability. The battery loses charge, and dealership logs show nearly 40% of new arrivals need a jump start before the first test drive. Tires develop permanent, ride-killing flat spots. Paintwork fades under the sun, leaving a permanent patchwork of dull streaks. Every single unsold car is a ticking clock, a liability that grows more expensive by the day, turning the initial profit margin into a slow, agonizing loss. But the most shocking visual evidence of this panic are the hidden car graveyards. Satellite images are revealing acres upon acres of brand new cars lined up in remote fields, far from the main showroom, often parked behind shuttered strip malls or on rented airport runways. Dealers are forced to pay thousands of dollars a month just to stash this unwanted inventory off-site, desperately hoping a buyer will show up before the tires rot and the batteries die. The goal is simple: to keep the main lot from looking like the financial graveyard it has become. Yet, the interest clock never pauses when the vehicle is moved to the secret lot. It keeps running at $50 to $80 a day per car, turning an asset into a massive, hidden, and completely unseen financial drain. Dealers who once bragged about record profits are now sweating every payment, and that desperation is finally translating into extraordinary deals. On the lot, the numbers have finally tilted completely in your favor. Trucks and SUVs, once the untouchable kings of the market, are now discounted like last year's electronics. Chevrolet dealers are slashing a desperate $8,000 to $13,000 off Silverados and Tahoes just to clear space and cut their interest bills. Ford F-150s, the perennial bestsellers, are moving with $7,500 in factory incentives and dealer markdowns that are bringing some XLT models under $40,000 for the first time since 2021. And the desperate return of 0% financing for 60 months is back for models like the Ram 1500, a giveaway unthinkable just 2 years ago. The real headline grabber, though, is the EV discount bin and the bleeding luxury market. Chevrolet dealers are stacking a massive $12,500 off the Bolt EUV. The Ford Mach-E is selling for $9,000 below sticker with a 0% APR bonus that buyers are now stacking with tax credits. One savvy subscriber messaged 3 Mercedes dealers, played them against each other, and drove away in a new EQE for $14,000 under MSRP. Dealers are stacking every incentive, every rebate, and every loophole just to move the metal before the next floor plan bill arrives. As one Texas dealer admitted after offering $11,000 off a Sierra Denali, "We are not making money on these deals. We are just trying to survive." The cycle is complete. The car companies got too greedy, the buyers hit the affordability wall, and now the system that made them billions is forcing them to bleed cash in a desperate fire sale. The leverage is finally back on your side. If you are willing to negotiate hard, the window is wide open to take back what they took from you. The companies that gouged us during the shortages are now offering the steepest discounts we've seen in over a decade. The old, arrogant rules of the car business are gone for good, and this is the perfect time to watch the fire sale. Are you ready to use this unprecedented leverage to finally get the deal you deserve?